Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. We from group 3, Angundila Puspita, Angelina Ginting, and Jihan Amanda will presentation about the machine bureaucracy. Okay, I will start about description of the basic structure. A clear configuration of the design parameters has held up consistently in the research. Highly specialized routine operating tasks, very formalized procedure, and the operating car. A proliferation of rules, regulation, and formalized communication throughout the organization. Large site unit at the operating level relies on the functional basis for grouping tasks, relatively centralized power for decisions making, and an elaborate administrative structure with a sharp distinction between line and staff. Condition of the machine bureaucracy. We began our discussion of the basic structure with the point that the work flow of the machine bureaucracy is highly rationalized. Its task simple and repetitive. Now we can see that much machine bureaucratic work is found, above all, in environments that are simple and stable. The work of complex environment cannot be relationalized into simple tasks. And that of dynamic environment cannot be predicted, much repetitive, and so standardized. The machine bureaucracy is typical found in the mature organization large enough to have the volume of operating work need for reparation and standardization and hard enough to have been able to settle on the standard it wishes to use. Machine bureaucracies tend also to be identified with regulating technical system, since that routine work and so enable it so be formalized. That technical system range from the very simple to the moderately sophisticated but not beyond highly sophisticated technical system require that considerable power be delegated to staff specialists, resulting in a form of decentralization incompatible with the machine bureaucratic structure. This organization was not a machine bureaucracy in the pure sense, since it lacked an elaborate administrative hierarchy. There were few middle managers and almost no analysis given extremely simple and almost perfectly stable work. The machine bureaucracy can set most of its administrative component. Another condition often found with many machine bureaucracies is external control. Hypothesis 14 indicate that the more an organization is controlled external, the more its structure is centralized and formalized. The The two prime design parameters of the machine bureaucracy, external control, is often most pronounced in government agency, giving rise to a common example of of this configuration, which we can call the public machine bureaucracy. Everything they do must seem to be fine, notably their treatment of clients and their hiring and promotion of employees. So they proliferate regulation.
Some issues associated with machine bureaucracy. No structure has evoked more heated debate than the machine bureaucracy. As one of its most eminent students has noted, on the one hand, most authors consider the bureaucratic organization to be the embodiment of rationality in the modern world, and as such, to be in chapter 10, we shall see that many police force, which for other reasons seem as though they should be structured as professional bureaucracies, are in fact drawn toward machine bureaucracy because of the counter-orientation and the need for public accountability, intrinsically superior to all other possible forms of organization. On the other hand, many authors, often the same ones, considers it a sort of Leviathan preparing the enslavement of the human race. But in these days, some advantage of machine-like efficiency lie all the disadvantage of their structure. Machines consist of mechanical parts. Organizational structure also include human beings, and that is where the analogy breaks down. The difference between the Da Vinci's in the steel mills and the cyclists in the supermarkets is that some people take to routine work and others abhor it. Some simply appreciate regularity in their work, perhaps lexically because it gives them a chance to get to know it well, or perhaps because it satisfies a need for order and security. But others, either because their need is to do creative, self-actualizing work or because they dislike being told what to do, cannot tolerate the word override them in machine bureaucracies. As long as everybody can find the word that best suits him or her, there is no problem, but apparently not everyone can. There appear to be more jobs in the machine bureaucracies of our society than people happy to fill them, and to fill in the more popular structures. And time is not on the side of the machine bureaucracy. Reaching educational levels raise work aspiration, that is, bring out the need for self-actualization at the expense of the need for security. Moreover, the welfare system has taken care of certain security needs, giving the worker the option of doing nothing without starving. The result is that today's machine bureaucracies are experiencing more and more resistance from people who simply do not want to be there, at least in societies like America. Whether the same phenomenon is occurring in countries like, say, Switzerland, where the people seem to release order and regularity, is not clear, or when the problem is not restricted to the operating core. Successful American middle-aged executive, no longer tolerant of the control mentality, seem also to be quitting in increasing numbers after years of struggling to get to where they are. Clearly, in the view of a growing portion of the workforce, machine bureaucracies are becoming unacceptable place to spend their working life. If the human problems in the operating core of machine bureaucracy cannot be solved by job enlargement, what are the prospect for democratization instead? Is discouraging, and for the same reason. Democratization does not eliminate the fundamental conflict in the machine bureaucracy between engineering efficiency on the one hand and individual satisfaction on the other. Giving the workers the right to vote for directors periodically does not change the realities of their everyday work. It might, however, somewhat change their attitudes to that work, infusing a dose of ideology into an otherwise utilitarian situation. A sense of ownership might reduce the feelings of alienation. The discouraging conclusion is that the machine bureaucracy creates major human problems in the operating core, ones for which no solution are apparent. John Woodward had it right when he argued that in their structures there is irreconcilable conflict between the technical and social systems. What is good for production simply is not good for people. Fundamental change will apparently have to come not through the front door of direct confrontation or legislation, but through the back door of change conditions to which the organization must respond. Specifically, nothing short of automation of the technical system or of an environment becoming more complex or dynamic seems able to alleviate the social problems of the machine bureaucracy. Coordination problems in the administrative center since the operating core of the machine bureaucracy is not designed to handle conflicts. Many of the human problems that arise there spill over into the administrative structure. Again, Worthy said it best. The organization was set up like a machine and it had to be operated like a machine. But because its components were human rather than mechanical, the task of controlling and directing it takes the ingenuity of the scientific managers. The elaborate contrivance of the modern industrial organization, the messes of paperwork and the red tape, the layer on layers of supervision, the luxuriant growth of staff, all these are evidence of the difficulty of controlling human organizations in terms of mechanistic principle.
Adaptation problems at the strategic apex as long as its environment remains perfectly stable. The machine's bureaucracy faces no great difficulty of adaptation. Its standard product handle the routine problems or coordination and non-routine units do notaries. but no organization can expect that much stability. In theory, the machine bureaucracy is designed to account for this problem. It has a management information system that aggregates information up the hierarchy, presenting the people at the top with cousins summaries of what goes on down below. The perfect solution for the overload top manager expect that much of the information is the wrong kind. The obvious solution for the top manager is to bypass the MIS and set up their own informal information system units that can bring them the risk tangible information they need quickly and reliably. They are incentive to establish their own networks of contact and informers both inside and outside the organization and expose themselves to as much fears and information as possible. So, a fundamental dilemma faces the top manager of the majors bureaucracy and a result of the centralization of the structure and the exercise on report toward the sign of all three. In time of change, when they most need to spend time getting the tangible detail, they are overboard with decisions coming up the hierarchy for resolution. They are therefore reduced to acting superficially with inadequate abstract information. The design of the machines bureaucracy also assumes that a strategy formulated in one place can later be implemented in another. This reasonable assumption under conditions of stability as long as the world holds style, or at least universe predistinct change. Will the plan unfolds uniformly? All too often the world refuses to hold still in insist on singing in unpredictable ways. This implies the need to adapt, to alter the strategy as it is being implemented under such fluid conditions. Either the formulator must implement his own strategy so that he can reformulate in en route, which is what happens in the simple structure, which faces a simple, dynamic environment, or else the implementers must take responsibility for the formulation and do it adaptively, which decentrative power of strategy making in the face a complex dynamic environment. When mentions bureaucracies must change their strategies in important rather than cosmetic ways, their top manager tend to act idiosyncratically. They are not in the habit of making such things. Their MIS have absorbed the kind of change the needed, and their structure are illustrating to referencing whatever change in eventually purpose. The top managers them to success only when they are strong enough to cause accident there. Bureaucratic information and control system and take matter into their own hands. In other words, ironical, the top manager's success in changing in measures bureaucracy only by shifting temporality to the linear, more flexible, simple structure. To Kunlat, the Mrs. Bequacerecy is an inflexible configuration as a machine. It is designed for one purpose only. It is efficient, is its own limited domain, but cannot easily adapt itself to any other. Above all, it cannot tolerate an environment that is either dynamic or complex. Nevertheless, the mentioned bureaucracy remains a dominant configuration. Probable the domain and in or specialized socialities as long as we remain standardized inexpensive goods and service, and as long as people remain more efficient that automated massive at providing them and remain willing to do so, the mindset bureaucracy with all its problem will be with us.
Thank you for your attention. We are from Group 3. Sorry there are error in writing or pronunciation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.